Hey, so I've been itching to do a tech vlog on one of the patterns that I've been exploring a lot lately that we often call the 3D pentagram, or some call it Arashi style, because it's basically stuff he was working on. I've been playing with this a lot lately. I'm still cleaning a lot of it up, but I found this whole wormhole to kind of go down, or a rabbit hole, I guess, depending on your alley. So the basic pattern we're looking at is this one, and so I'm going to do a series of videos based on this for one hand, two hands, all these different ways to vary it, to play with it, different interesting sort of tweaks to it, but this one's going to just start with kind of the concept that it comes from and the static version, and you can find a lot more of this stuff. It's based on toroids, and Drex and Eric and lots of other wonderful people have been putting up some great videos on that lately. So for a lot more detail that, you can follow them. So our basic pattern though is going to look like this. What we're doing is we're going to draw out the points of a star, 5-petal star, so your typical, the one you learned in like 3rd grade where you're just doodling and all of a sudden you have a star. But we're doing it in 3D and has a lot of really interesting features. So what I'm going to do is walk you through it. It looks like a star. We're going to talk about projecting a lot, which is a math term for if I take everything in a space or a room and I look at it from one angle, kind of smash it together, like we're pushing it up against the computer screen so you can see it at once, then project it. And so we're going to look at a lot of space that it projects into a star, because it doesn't do anything. So what happens here is if we start out spinning forward, I like to talk about it as we're going to bend the plane we're in. So we start out spinning forwards, and when it gets to the top, I'm going to come down and go to the bottom right, which is my bottom right point of the star. And I'm going to bend the plane a little further and come to here, which is my upper left point, and then my upper right, my bottom left, and back to the top. And if we think of it as our plane is spinning in a circle around, so this is a stack of plates, and normally we're spinning like this, where, a basic static spin goes around the plane. Now what we're going to do is we're going to draw that plane like this towards the audience, so it looks like we're drawing a line when we project it, because you can only, if you're seeing it straight on, it's just a line. And it's going to follow around this, and the plane we're in is bending, like I said. So it goes here, and we're at the top, and it's going to come around 180 degrees, and the plane's going to bend a bit. And then it's going to come another 180 degrees, and the plane's going to bend, and another 180, and the plane bends, and another, and we're back at the top, back where we started. Except, now, if you follow the direction I've been going, when the plate started, it was like this, and I was going around it this way. And now, once I've flipped it around, I need to keep going around it kind of the same direction, so I'm going this way, so now I'm going backwards. So this pattern actually takes multiple rotations to get there, because if we do it again, we'll go forward. So again, we start here, spinning forward, and when it gets to the top, we're going to come down to the bottom right, and then we're going to go, and we're going to bend again to the upper left, upper right, bottom left, up top. We're spinning backwards now. We need to do the whole thing again until we're spinning forward. So bottom right, and it's going to feel different because we're spinning the other direction. The important thing, and we can do this all without the pauses in between. And you can do this keeping your hand mostly static. I'll talk about all the variations on that later. So, you want to practice just going through the different points and just playing with the plane controller. You can try stopping at each one. Notice I'm moving my hand a little here, but not a lot, just to kind of emphasize where I am. And you should visualize the points of the star as you're doing it. So my points of the star are here, 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 here. And so, that star. Okay, and we're cutting across it. We're not going around the outside like a pentagon. And that's why this move is so interesting, really, as we draw these lines. You should practice it like that I recommend, when I do it, I actually tend to start at the bottom left, so I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going this way to get into it. So, and you should practice this, I would say, both directions. That's a little complicated here, because remember, if I start spinning forwards, I end up spinning backwards after one rotation. So we need to practice it going from backwards to forwards and forwards to backwards, but those are really the same direction as it goes through it, which will come up in the phasing video. But what you should also practice is going through the points in the opposite order. So this one I went here to the bottom right for me. Now I'm going to go from the top to the bottom left for me. So this is a less comfortable direction, but you should drill both of them. You can also work on, you can come up inside the arm, or you can come up outside the arm. Depending on which feels more comfortable. You should probably be able to do both, because when we get to doing two, that will be important. The one other thing to do is note that right now I've been pointing it up and with the top point up, and all the other points, they're not left, right, up, or down, because they're at weird angles. They're every 72 degrees from each other for the math people out there. So I'm gonna also want to work on pointing it down. That's another option. So now I'm going to start, when it comes down, I'm going to go this, and now I can point the star downwards. Like that. And you can, again, go through this in the opposite order of petals. So go that way, or you go. I have not tried pointing this left or right. I'm not sure if this point, it doesn't really make sense to how that would work yet. If I ever figure that out, I will let you know. So practice that static one. I have more things coming up in the Pentagon, 3D Pentagon primer.